Hi there. Today we're going to be making apple cake. Since it's apple season, I'm using 6 medium apples. We're going to need at least 6 apples. Depends on the size. You can use 5. And I'm going to be starting with 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 2 whole eggs, room temperature. And we're gonna use our hand mixer. You can use just a whisk. I'm using a hand mixer this time. And we're gonna use 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. So put in 1/2 cup of oil, vegetable oil, to our sugar and eggs and cinnamon. We're just gonna use a hand mixer. That's our wet ingredients. And we're going to mix our 1 cup of all-purpose flour in our sifter here with 2 teaspoons of baking powder, sift it. You can use a hand sifter, or you can use and put 1 more cup of all-purpose flour and our sifter here. This is our dry ingredients. Once we mix our baking powder and our flour together and we sift them, we're going to start peeling our apples. You could use a peeler, you could use a knife, whichever you prefer. Just a sharp knife, slice them thin and chop them up. Before you put the flour inside with the wet ingredients, we're gonna put our apples and we're just gonna peel them quick. I'm using a peeler, you can use a knife. And just cut in half, removing all the insides. Chopping them tiny pieces, just a bite. We don't want them too thick. We want them to have a little bite to it. It's apple cake, so you could use this and put it in a cake pan. This time I'm using a bunt pan, which is very simple. That finely chopped like that. I'm using a bunt pan for this one. Just spray it and Once we chop our apples, we just combine them here in our wet ingredients. And we're just gonna fold them inside here in our batter. And we don't want our apples to be early peeled and chopped so they don't turn brown. Or you could just mix them like this and just add all your dry ingredients as well. Fold in your flour inside. Gradually. Just make sure all your flour is mixed well here. Just fold it. You do not need no more of the hand mixer. It's gonna look lumpish, and our chunks of apples in there. Just gonna take our cake bunt pan. You could butter it, or you could just Pam spray, cooking spray, and just generously once you mix the apples and flours, just pour it a spoon at a time. It's pretty thick batter. Getting it even all over. I have here some rose sugar and just gonna spread on the top coating. Gives it a nice crust to our top. Heat it up at 350 oven for an hour. Cake, see, with a toothpick, just gonna check if it's still wet. It needs still to be cooked more. Once our cake is done, we're just gonna make sure it's nice and dry in here and just check with a toothpick. It's nice and clean toothpick. I'm gonna use a rubber spatula to scrape the edges so it doesn't get stuck in our bunt pan. Just like that. We don't want to use a knife that scrapes our pan. Just like that, softly. Put our plate over, and I'm grabbing it bare hands, as you can see, but don't do my method. Use a pot holder. Let's see if we can flip it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And there's our apple cake. Nice and steamy. Gonna find out what we made. Cutting our apple cake. It smells so good from the cinnamon. Nice and fluffy. Chunks of apples. Every bite, there's an apple in there. This is how I make my apple cake. Hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, don't forget to subscribe.